Aloha! Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I'm so happy to be with you again today as we consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. In today's episode, we're exploring something that's always with us, our breath. It's the simplest, most natural tool for calming your nervous system, for easing your anxiety, and returning to balance. The breath is involved in, like I was talking about in our last episode, with humming or chanting. That all involves the breath, but maybe there are many things you can do if you are not even chanting or humming or singing, or using your breath in those ways. You can still use your breath to calm. Now, I talk about it all the time. We always talk about having the longer, slower exhalation. But sometimes I harp on things because they're so important, and I try to come at them from a lot of different directions because we all will get our aha moments from different places at different times. So here we are talking about breath yet again. But it's because it's so important. And we want to be able to use the most natural tool that we have for calming our nervous system, easing anxiety, and returning to balance. So I was very inspired by James Nestor's wonderful book, Breath, The New Science of a Lost Art. I will have more information about other episodes for calming your breath or using your breath, so that maybe if this one doesn't quite do it, or if this one just piques your interest and you want to listen to more, you can listen to a couple other episodes that I have. But I also would highly suggest that you look into James Nestor's book, Breath, The New Science of a Lost Art. And so today I'm going to share how the ways we breathe affects our mind and our mood and even our fear response, and how the small changes that we can make can bring us back to peace. So if the title of today's episode felt like something you want more of, like I said, be sure to check out these past episodes on breath. Here are two that can get you started. Otherwise, you can use the search bar on either your app that you're listening to your podcast or over there on our website. Episode 1095 is called Using Your Breath to Calm the Mind and Body. That has tools and practices to help you use your breath for immediate calm and stress relief. And episode 1138 is called Understanding the Sensitized Nervous System. And that's to learn more about how the nervous system reacts to stress and anxiety and what you can do to reset it. And breath is talked about in there also. Both episodes actually offer practical strategies to support your nervous system and help you to reduce the anxiety, along with reconnecting with your natural sense of calm. We want to find that and remember how to go there naturally. And you do that by going there over and over again consciously, and then eventually it becomes your default to be reconnected with your natural sense of calm. And you can listen to those episodes anywhere you access your podcasts, or like I said, you can visit the anxietycoachespodcast.com for full access to all our episodes. So let's settle in. Let's take a slow breath together through your nose. And let's dive in. So, like I said, this episode is inspired by James Nestor's book. And he talks about how breathing happens automatically. But the way that we breathe changes everything. When we're anxious, afraid, or even just rushing through our day, you know how I tell you to slow down? Because rushing even, it changes our breath, because then our breath often becomes shallow. It becomes fast and high in the chest. And that all sends a signal to the brain, danger is near. And over time, this type of breathing keeps the body in a low-grade kind of fight or flight state. The sympathetic nervous system is always switched on. That is where we are when we are stressed. James Nestor says that the modern humans have forgotten how to breathe properly. He calls it the lost art of breathing. And what is that we have forgotten how to do? Breathing through our nose. He says that we mouth breathe, we overbreathe, and we forget that slow, nasal, rhythmic breathing is what nature designed us for. Now, he goes deep into this in his book, and he experiments on himself and a friend, and he does a lot of research around how and where we stopped breathing correctly. So remember that this mouth breathing that we are doing is actually causing us to overbreathe. We have forgotten that the slow, nasal, rhythmic breathing is what nature designed us for. I don't know if it was James Nestor or somebody else that said, like your nose, it's there for breathing. It's not there for other things. It's just there to breathe. So use it that way. When you start doing it, you're going to notice changes. And one of the biggest changes that you will notice is that it slows your rate of breathing down. And that is a huge message to your nervous system that all is well. Because each breath that we take tells the body something. Fast breathing and shallow breathing says there's danger. Slow and steady breathing says you're safe. So, the breath becomes a conversation between your body and your mind, and it's one that we can gently guide toward calm. I remember when I learned about breathing slower. I don't know if I was aware of whether I should be nose breathing then or not, but it was a very, very long time ago. And I had my health food stores at the time. And I was so excited about how longer, slower exhales and slowing my pace down and breathing deeper into my lungs versus just in that upper third of the lung, very shallow, how it had changed how I felt. And people would be at the store wanting, a lot of anxious people came in. A lot of people have always struggled with anxiety, let me just say that. And nervous tension, whatever we were calling it at the moment. And I remember they'd be wanting to buy all kinds of supplements that they had learned about or read about or a doctor had told them about to help them with whatever it was they were struggling with their stress and anxiety. And I would want to take them over in the book corner and sit them down and talk to them about, well, what you really have to do is change your breathing. Well, it was quite exciting to be able to share things with people like that. We always had great conversations, everyone sharing what was and wasn't working for them. And a lot of people probably changed their breathing after hearing me spout off about it. But I was so excited because it really, really changed my life. So let's talk about the science of calm breathing. And let's talk about what's happening in the body when we breathe calmly. Slow nasal breathing, remember I said nasal breathing, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and digest mode. It slows the heart rate, it lowers the blood pressure, and it balances the oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the blood. James Nestor writes, breathing slow, less, and through the nose has been shown to increase carbon dioxide levels, improve the oxygen uptake, and calm the body. So sometimes less is more. Let's try it together now. This is one thing that I hope that you do, of course, on your own, but since you're listening, why not try it with me? Gently inhale through the nose for a count of 4. Pause for just a moment, then exhale softly through the nose for a count of 6. Let's do it together again. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do it again. It's hard to get the rhythm sometimes. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you feel your shoulders drop? Maybe you can let them drop. We're holding them up ourselves. We can release that. Notice how your thoughts slow just a little. This is your nervous system shifting toward safety. This is what anxiety is all about, not being safe, not feeling safe, whether it's coming from your physiology or your psychology. Every slow exhale reminds the body, I can rest now. So there's an emotional and a spiritual side of your breath also. I know I talked a little bit about that in the previous episode with chanting and humming. The breath doesn't just calm the body, it calms the mind and it soothes the heart. When anxiety pulls us into the future, into those what ifs and those worst case scenarios, the breath brings us back to now. You cannot breathe in the future and you cannot breathe in the past, only now. That's why it's such an amazing reminder. James Nestor writes, the missing pillar in health is breath. It all starts here. And I think that's really important because actually the fact that you are listening to this and you may have stress and maybe you have anxiety and maybe you feel uncomfortable with all of it, it could be that that stress and anxiety has actually been a blessing to you now because now you've been out searching, listening to podcasts, reading things, and you can learn about the missing pillar in health. You can learn about the breath. As James Nestor writes, it all starts here. Your health starts with your breath. And maybe by learning about breath in your lifetime now is going to be good for your health, for your future. When my clients begin working with their breath, not controlling it forcefully, but meeting it with an awareness, they often say it feels like they've found a reset button inside themselves or something like that. They have been able to find a place to make a change. Breath awareness is self-compassion in motion. It isn't just thinking nice, self-compassionate thoughts. It is acting it out. Each calm breath whispers, you're okay. You're safe. You're home. So let's look at the practical side of all of this, right? How can you begin practicing healthier breathing in your daily life? I have 3 simple steps you can start with today. First one, remember to breathe through your nose whenever possible. Mouth breathing can increase stress hormones and dry out airways. Nasal breathing filters, warms, and balances the breath, helping your nervous system stay steady. Number 2, slow the rhythm of your breath. Aim for about 5.5 breaths per minute. Let's say 6 as you're getting started. A 5.5 second inhale and a 5.5 second exhale. Nestor found this rhythm across traditions in chanting, in prayer, and in meditation. It's like nature's own tempo for calm. And thirdly, you knew this one was coming. Exhale a little longer than you inhale. The long exhale activates your vagus nerve, your body's built-in relaxation switch. It tells your heart and brain, we're safe now. You don't need to get this perfect. Just noticing your breath is enough to begin shifting your body toward peace. The body knows how to find balance itself when we give it space and kindness. Every breath is a chance to begin again. James Nestor helped remind us that breath is not just about survival. It's about connection, calm, and vitality. So as you move through your day, let your breath be your companion. When anxiety rises, come back to the breath. When your mind races, return to your exhale. I think you'll find that peace has been with you all along. It just needed a little space to breathe. Breath is so key to our peace and calm that I want to remind you again about those episodes earlier that I have, 1095 and 1138, so that you can hear different points of view if you want to continue exploring how breath and the body work together to calm anxiety. Both of those episodes offer practical strategies to support your nervous system, reduce your anxiety, and reconnect with that natural sense of calm that is in you already. Thank you for taking time to breathe with me today. Until next time, may you be well, may you be peaceful, and may your breath bring you back home to calm. And now for today's quote. Breathing is the greatest secret of longevity. How you breathe determines how you feel, how you age, and even how you die. And that's from James Nestor. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.